volunteers at San Quentin Prison, and I work with Brian Acey at the Media Center. And we're working on a new project called Inside Out, where the incarcerated men get to ask questions of the outside that are sent to me. And then this video will come back to you with questions that the outside has for you. I hope you like it, and we hope you'll participate.
I'm Grace Waters, and as I'm recording this right now, I am currently on my second lockdown because I have COVID, and even though it's really difficult for me to be in this quarantine, I am still very grateful that I have my partner with me, and the end is in the forefront. And I can't even imagine how it must be for you guys, but I hope that you are staying strong and keeping the faith, and know that a lot of people are thinking about you.
What are some of the things that you miss the most being in lockdown?
My freedom to be able to just go out and about whenever I want, whether it's something as simple as go to the grocery store because I ran out of pasta, or go on a walk and talk to a stranger. I miss my freedom.
Does it make you think about people who will not get their freedom for another year or 10 years or 50 years?
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people that are out in the free world right now that have COVID, that are in quarantine, are in this collective kind of experience thinking about everyone who doesn't have the choices that we have, that are in the system. And I think we feel a lot for those people.
If you have a question for any of the incarcerated men that they will get back to you on, any questions for any of them?
I mean, yeah, like what are the things that you tell yourself every day to either keep you mentally strong or keep your mind mentally free? Because I know that even though we're locked in a lockdown, that the one thing you can control is your mind. So what are the things that you're doing to give yourself hope and freedom?
Hello, my name is Tania Dominguez. I'm in San Francisco, California, and life in a corona lockdown has been really hard. I have a brother at San Quentin, Rafael Cuevas, and I worry about him a lot because they're so close together. And I worry about my kids, and I worry about my parents. And it just really sucks because a lot of people are not too worried about it. And even though I think that, God forbid, I got it, I think I could fight it off. And so it's been really hard, on top of just being in the house. I have two boys, 12 and 8, and they're just wild stallions. So it has been really hard not to be able for them to see friends and see their Nino, see my brother. It's just been really hard all around. When San Francisco Unified first announced, that we were going to go into a 2-week lockdown, I was like joking, like, oh, 2-week unpaid vacation. And then they turned it into months. And then, yeah, we're not coming back before the end of the school year and the summer. And it's just been really hard because it's not like we live somewhere that they can just go outside and ride bikes or, play with anybody. So it's been super hard.
Does this give you a different insight into what it means, what it's like for your brother and the other men who are incarcerated, in terms of being able to see people when you went to see them? I'm sure it's crossed your mind before, but having to live it in reality, do you?
It actually hasn't, I mean, as much as I love my brother, he's there because of his actions. And so, do I wish things were different? Of course. Do I wish we could take back that day? Absolutely. But even and maybe because the lockdown has not affected me personally as much as me empathizing with my children. So like I even made a joke about it at the beginning. I was like, this is what I had prayed for, like just being home, being able to work out, being able to, spend my time the way I want to in the house. But I didn't want the kids to be at the house at the same time. So
Yeah, it gives a different perspective, doesn't it?
I had never thought of that, to be honest with you. I had never thought of that. It sucks, but I just pray that my brother and anyone else who finds himself paying for something, that they really think about it, and that hopefully when they get out that they'll do things different, because as hard as it is for him, he knows that our whole family is going through it as well. So, and maybe because my brother's been down for so long, it's going on. I mean, we're already in year 16, so I hadn't thought about that. Because they still have that interaction.
Yeah.
They have our interaction, which during a pandemic is not what you want.
Yeah.
But they still have that contact with people. Versus my kids who, can't see friends, can't play sports, can't do any of that. And I saw this thing, and they were like, the way that you look at it, the way that you, the perspective that you have on it, and the way that you're, putting that onto your kids, like it could be a learning moment. And, and I was like, F that, like this is super hard on the kids. Like, and of course it's first world problems, because they have enough to eat, they have a warm bed, they have, everything that they need. But I mean, that interaction is really important. And so it's hard. I guess if you were a policymaker, like what's the big change that you would do to help people turn it around when they get out, turn it around and never come back?
As a free man, as a free person, what's it like having to experience being locked down?
It's an excellent opportunity to understand what it is like to be isolated and kept from people and habits that you would normally be carrying on.
Did you think it would be what you expected? Is it more difficult than you anticipated, or are you getting through it, or are you just about like...
I think it's far less difficult than I realized it could be. Dog, my wife, my cat, and plenty of things that I can freely do around my house. So my isolation is within a very large area.
I know that people, you work with the ACLU and immigrants, and you're very aware of people that have it difficult, especially incarcerated people.
Yes.
Do you find that it may be similar, or do you think, wait a minute, this has got to be...
This is not a big deal compared to being incarcerated or in detention.
If you had a question for any of the incarcerated men that they may answer for you, what would your question be?
How do you keep your spirits up?
I'm Betty. I live in Sausalito with my husband of 40 years and our 15-year-old cat. I think what I've noticed most about the pandemic is losing those sort of random contacts you have with people out in the world, and those random conversations where you connect even for a few minutes, and it's different, and you get a sense of other people's humanity. I really miss that. I'm grateful for our ability to obtain food and medicine. That was pretty challenging at the beginning in March. It's a little bit easier now. We've all worked out our systems. I'm really grateful because I've met neighbors I mean, I've lived here for several years, and we've said hello at the post box, but we've really gotten to know each other and depend on each other. And I think that's going to be good for the long term. It certainly made me feel more at home. I think we're also getting back to what really matters to us. You know, we don't have the same number of distractions. And I'm grateful for that. I am missing my grandchildren terribly, as I know many people are. And I'm just really sad sometimes for people who, you know, can't see their families because of all the visitation restrictions, whether it's for incarcerated people or people in nursing homes. You know, to be separated from your family, it's just really hard for everyone.
So you can pretty much almost see San Quentin from where you live, and certainly you pass it all the time. Is it hit you closer to home now, what it would be like being in lockdown for 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, and the thought of, you know, not having control over my personal space to be safe in a pandemic. I mean, not having personal safety equipment. I mean, the idea of socially distancing in a prison is, I mean, I just can't even imagine how that works. I was listening to NPR today, and they were talking about the priority for vaccinations, and, you know, incarcerated people are like 9th or 10th on the list. And it's not like you have any choice about being exposed in that kind of setting. So I think about it a lot.
If you have one question that you'd like to ask some of the incarcerated men, would you like to ask something?
There's a lady at my church who's been volunteering for many years with the Insight Project at San Quentin. And one of the things she shared with me was how important, I don't know if you want to call them spiritual, but certainly practices that feed your spirit. And I would be really interested to hear what's working for people and where they found the inspiration. I think to remain human in the world today takes real effort. I mean, I'm always, when I meet someone who's really kind or considerate or just not selfish in the world, you notice it because it's special. And so I'd like to know what practices help you to be human in a setting that's not particularly humane.
Cindy, and actually I don't live all that far away from all of you in San Quentin. And to answer the question, what did it feel like being on lockdown in a free world? Mostly we felt kind of scared with this sense that COVID was just all around us, ready to jump on us if we even left our house. But we're really, really fortunate that we could stay inside a home, a pretty home, and have our groceries and live pretty normal lives, with the exception of socializing. So for us, it was not all that difficult, but we couldn't help but think of all the people for whom it was really difficult. People with kids at home, people that couldn't go to their jobs. And I think more than anything, that was the biggest impact on us, was thinking about how difficult it would be for so many other people. And in terms of question for you, I might ask, who is the person you are most looking forward to seeing on the day that you get out?
That's it for the first segment of Inside Out, and we'll try to continue this. So please, if you have any questions, write them down, give them to Brian AC, or more importantly, if you have replies to the questions that were asked, send that to Brian, and I'll record that and get the inside outside and the outside inside. As for myself, being on lockdown during this pandemic, we're on our third one. And like many people, like Tania said, at first I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I'll get all this work done, but it just hasn't happened. And I used to leave San Quentin with mixed feelings. Yay, I had my freedom. I could do what I wanted. And then a real sadness that I could do what I wanted, and I was leaving all of you behind who couldn't. And I wondered what that would be like, and thought, well, I will never know what that's like, because I couldn't see any circumstance where I'd be in lockdown. And so when I get low, when I feel bad, it's strangely enough, more about my freedom not to be able to go to prison because of the lockdown. I can't go inside. I can't go and see the men that I've been working with on the basketball teams and in the media center. And that gave me purpose, and it fulfilled me, and hopefully it fulfilled you. So my question for you is, did you ever think about the people that do come in to volunteer and why they do it and what they're really going in there for? Hope to hear from you soon, and stay well.